we're here, and it looks like everything's working fine. I'm with Jesse. I've known this guy for 20,
21, 22.
20 something, 20 in between 20 and 24, 25.
I did the math the other day. I can't remember. It's like it's between 20 and 25 years.
So
we've known each other a while.
Yeah. And we both enjoy the paranormal, and all things paranormal, even if it's, some say, ridiculous as Bigfoot, but
yeah.
But we're here to discuss. Jesse has a new venture. He's got a YouTube channel. It's J.E.T Paranormal. It's J.E.T Paranormal. Can you go ahead and explain J.E.T Paranormal?
So basically, moved to Ohio about almost 3 years ago. Me and my little sister Taylor, we both have an interest in the paranormal. I have for many years. I found out she did. So for my birthday, the first March we were there, I found out there's this place 15, 20 minutes up from the house. And I was like, I want to book this for my birthday. I haven't done one of these since actually, the house right down the street from where we're at right now.
Oh, when we did that.
Yeah, when we did Plantation House down here. So it'd been that long. I've always wanted to do it again. So found out about it, found the price, found the date. And again, this is March in Ohio, and it's still cold.
Yeah.
So we ended up booking it, me, Taylor, and my son Eric. And we do the full whole night. We got there at 7 p.m. and we just did the whole thing. And while we did it, we had 2 cameras running. We had no equipment. I actually went and bought a REM pod. I bought cat balls, which are very questionable when it comes to ghost hunting. I bought a tape recorder because I did not have one, and I bought some flashlights. And that's what we started out with. That's all we had. So we ended up recording our whole night. Mm-hmm. Well, I was like, I want to put it on YouTube. I want to document this. I want to keep it because just us doing it for fun, we need to keep it.
Absolutely.
So we went and did the whole night. I went and watched all the footage over the next week. And that's 2 cameras. You're looking at 8, 9, 10 hours of footage. Mm-hmm. So watched all of it, made notes of where I wanted to do things, sit down, me and my sister, we go through the editing process. And while we're editing, I'm like, well, we need to have a channel name. And it took us longer to come up with a channel name than it should have. But we're just sitting there throwing things back and forth. And I think my wife Marie actually said, well, why not just Jet? Because my initials are Jet.
I was going to point that out. I was like, that's your
my initials are Jet. And I was like, well, that's just a funny coincidence because it's Jesse, Eric, and Taylor. Jet. I said, why not? We'll make it Jet Paranormal. We'll do J.E.T Paranormal. So we had the name. Then I got with my daughter Elizabeth, and I was like, look, I need a banner. So my daughter made us our banner, our YouTube banner. That's my
very good looking banner too.
Then like the logos, that ghost that does, I can't remember which one it is. She made many of them for me when I did Twitch, but it's one of her drawings is the logo on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
So we went and everything is family involved on all of this. And that's what started the whole thing was doing an investigation for my birthday. That's all it was I wanted to do this for my birthday. And we ended up experiencing things. We ended up catching some things. And I was like, well, I want to keep doing it. I got that scratch. I got that itch. I have to do it. It's like getting your first tattoo. You just want the next one.
Absolutely.
So it's a rush. And it's so much fun.
So what's the biggest rush when you go out there? Like what gets your blood just race through your body when you hear something or you potentially see something that you have to rule it out sometimes because it's a shadow from a car or something. But what gets you going? Oh my God! Did you hear? I think I saw one in your video. Like, what the was that? And you were like pumped.
Yeah,
what did you start? Was it a cough or something? It's something.
It was the clip I sent you. We haven't even put that video out yet. It's from the old Blackford County Jail in Hartford City, Indiana.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of all those things. But what really gets me going, and my wife will tell you, I do an absurd amount of research when I find us a place. Mm-hmm. So like when we decided we were going to do Post Town, I was like, I need to watch every single video I can find on Post Town. So I know what we're getting into, what type of activity happens, because you also get tours at all these places that you go to. So like I'm going to watch videos. I've watched an insane amount of footage on Poasttown Elementary School. And that was just to get us ready. So I get excited when I know I'm going to book the next place. And I know I need to watch as much as I can, even if it's from an obscure channel that has like 2 views on their video. I'm watching it.
But some of those videos are really good. They're just not out there. I mean,
They're not out there because they're not those channels. They're not, and I'm going to say some channel names that I do not watch, but I'm going to say them because they do bring eyes to the paranormal field. I don't watch Twin Paranormal.
Okay.
I don't watch them because they're too overly excited and exaggerated, and their channels have been debunked numerous upon numerous times by other people. They're one of the ones that get the most views, and they have the highest subscriber count.
Yeah.
But I don't watch them. I watch Paranormal Quest. They just hit 200,000 subscribers, and they've been doing this for 14 years.
Wow.
And I watched every one of their videos, and they're one of the teams that brought Poasttown to my attention because they'd been there. So I try to pull in as much as I can.
So when you did your investigation of Poasttown, did you get? Because I know each visit, each time is a different. You're going to get different experiences. Yeah. So when you went to Poasttown, did you get some of the similar things that they got, or
no? Honestly, it was completely different. And I've been there. I can tell you, I've filmed there 3 times. I have been there a total of 5 times. Okay. Twice with my son Jonathan for group haunts and with other people. Mm-hmm. So first time we went there, the biggest things that we caught. Principal's office, we heard footsteps above us on the 2nd floor. But the biggest thing in that entire first video, the biggest thing we ever caught, we were in the doll room. And in the doll room, we're going back and forth. We're using apps, and we can get into that too. I have feelings on apps. But we were using an app called GhostTube, going back and forth, and it was saying some things, and I come and challenge it. And when I did that, my sister said, no, it said this, we need to leave. And the only place that we caught the snippet, we caught a voice say, stay. And the only place we caught it was on her cell phone's audio.
Jeez, that gave me chills.
It was not on.
I want to stay.
It was not on my EVP.
Yeah.
It was not on our camera. We had both cameras running. This is before we did one static and one with us. We had both cameras running in that room.
Yeah.
Neither one of them picked it up. But on her phone, you just hear a very slight whisper go, stay.
Well, you know what? So you can take it 2 ways. One of 2 ways. You can take it as something evil, or a child that wants you to stay because they're lonely.
Yeah, and it was, to me, it sounded like a male voice. It really did. But that was the biggest thing of that entire night.
Yeah.
But we didn't hear it in the moment. We didn't hear anything. We were getting REM pod activity in front of 2 dolls. We were getting an insane amount of cat ball activity. We were getting a lot of that happen in interactions, but we weren't hearing anything audible.
Yeah.
We heard some things on the roof, and because it was on the top floor right above us is the roof, and it's a flat roof. There's no hinges or anything, and we kept hearing like knocking sounds. So I did ask the owner, is there anything up there that would make that sound? He goes, no, there's nothing above. I was thinking it was one of those wheels that are on top of school spinning and hitting.
So there's nothing?
There's nothing. It's just a flat roof. So we were like, oh, crap. Well, we did hear something above us.
So if you heard some steps, somebody was up on the roof.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah, it sounded like someone just took 2 hard steps or something slammed. But there was nothing there to make it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a windy night. So,
okay.
But out of that whole first experience, that was the one thing that really kicked off me going, okay, we need to do more.
Yeah.
So we followed that up with the Broadwell Funeral Home. Me and Eric were the only ones that went to that because Taylor was in a car wreck, broke her hip. So we went to the Broadwell Funeral Home. That one is where Eric developed his fear of basements.
But this is a video of why he's scared of basements now. So you might want to check that one out. Which one is that? What's that one called again?
Which one is it?
The video? The one where Eric is scared of.
We're very classy with the names of our videos. For the Broadwell Funeral Home one, it is just called Our Night in the Haunted Broadwell Funeral Home.
Okay, so that's the one where Eric has a fear, and if you want to find out why he has a fear, you need to watch that video.
Yes, it's near the end of it, but yes, you find out exactly why he hates basements.
Yeah, so we don't want to spoil that for you. That's your broad view of your channel, and dude, he's getting views, people. They're checking it out. They're legit. They don't cheese their stuff. I know Jesse, over 20 years, so I know he doesn't dress it up. It's what you see is what you get. Because there's a lot of times you go and you get nothing.
Yep.
And that's just.
And I put that in the videos.
Yeah.
You have to show the boring stuff. I do like, one of my new favorite things to do is I like the silence. So it's always good to be talking and asking and trying to get interactions, but the best tools are your ears and your eyes.
Yes.
So you just sit and you listen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to have that awkward silence. Because if you don't,
that awkward silence,
you may miss something. And that gets your heart, that gets the blood pressure, the adrenaline going, because you may sit there and go, well, let's play hide and seek, which is, I love doing if I know there's stories or rumors of a child spirit. I love playing hide and seek. And it's very simple as knocking twice or clapping my hands twice, which we've only ever got a response once. So I like to do that. And you have this moment of 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds where you're just waiting. And you're just like, is anything going to happen? And where's it going to happen at? And it's only happened once. And that was at the mysterious Monroe house in Hartford City, Indiana. We actually got a response back one time, and only one time.
We were at a house in Montgomery. It's haunted with a little girl or boy. I forget what they said it was haunted with. But if you go to a certain closet and you start asking questions and say not once for the yes and two for no, it'll respond. So the guy was single. He had a son, but he was single. And if he brought a girlfriend over, they never stayed the night. They were always getting run out by the spirit.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, this is like over 25 years ago.
Wow.
So I don't know where it's at. It's in Montgomery though, but I'm like, that's. I wish I was recording. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Because I've always had a thing for paranormal, but I never really took it seriously till like later on when I lived in that haunted house. And but yeah, so that's when you said something about responses, like it's in that house. And so what? What got you into it? Like what was that one thing that got you saying, man, I want more. I want to do this. I want to. So, like, okay, for instance, at the plantation house, what got you interested in wanting to go? Hey, this place is haunted. I'm going to check it out.
That one's like one of the odd. It was an odd thing. I worked with a guy at Walmart by the name of Josh, and he was one of the guys that was there. Plus those two girls, I cannot remember their name to save my life.
I know, I remember them though.
But me and him got to talking, and me and him both had this interest in something paranormal, and he did the research and found out Plantation House was haunted, but it was a bed and breakfast. We were, if I remember correctly, they had never had anybody openly investigate that place until we did it. If I remember right, she even said no one's ever came in here and done a full investigation of the place or stayed the whole night just for this purpose. People rented it out for weddings. People passed by for bed and breakfast. But if I'm not mistaken, we were the first ones to go in there and do an investigation on it. And that was the whole reason that it happened. We found out what the price was.
Yeah.
Very reasonable for the whole thing. It was very reasonable. And that's when I was like,
we jumped in on it too.
Yeah. I was like, Pat, Ashley, her friend, I can't remember.
Ron.
Yeah, Ron went, me, Josh, the other, and all of us were there for the bed and breakfast, and 3 of us stayed the night.
Oh, I did.
And
I don't know what happened to me.
So the best part was none of us slept in a different room, even though we were all going to sleep in different rooms. After that night, we all slept in the same room, and I literally slept in 2 chairs with my feet propped up, and we had the lights on with both doors shut and locked. So that's not because anything crazy happened. It's just it was haunted, and it was the first time I ever did anything like that, like a full-blown overnight intentionally trying to get interactions with somebody.
But you found something on your digital recorder.
Yes, and those things are long gone, unfortunately, and I know you asked a while back if I ever had them, and I don't, but to me, that's still one of the coolest things I've ever found, and that was the interaction with the 2 girls when me and Josh are in the room across the hall from them. And they're doing their little thing in there because they have a recorder. We have a recorder and we have our two-way so we can communicate.
Mhm.
And they're just doing whatever they're doing on their end. But out of nowhere, we just hear Josh come to the room. And he went. And then he said, Jesse, get in here now. And I said, okay. He goes, touch her ear. And her ear is ice cold. So I go back and listen to the audio, and you hear them just being girls, goofing off. Hey, come in here, blah, blah, blah. I know you like women. And all of a sudden, you just hear somebody take a deep breath and blow. You just hear, and she goes, my ear is cold. And she yells for Josh on the radio.
But she didn't hear that She didn't hear that.
She didn't hear that. She just felt her ear get cold. But you hear something take a breath and blow. And the next thing you know, you hear her go, Josh, come here over the radio. And she comes, you hear him coming in. And this is the coolest part of that whole thing. Josh is a big boy.
Yeah, I remember.
Josh was coming in. And as his footsteps were coming closer, you heard footsteps leaving. And on the recorder, you heard footsteps leaving as he was coming in the room.
Wow.
And then he comes in, he's like, hey, what's going on? She goes, touch my ear, it's cold. And that's when he touched it. Went, oh, crap. He goes, Jesse, get in here.
Yeah.
Coolest thing in the world. And that guy that supposedly haunts that place is fond of women. He will mess with their hair, blow in their ear, everything.
Let's not say fond of women, because remember, I had that. I was downstairs, and I remember hearing her talking about that. And I've said this before several times, but we're going to say it again. I was downstairs with my buddy and Ashley, and it happened to me. I actually heard I actually heard that. And the whole right side of my body was like cold. So cold. And yes, that happened to me too. So if you want to know if the place is haunted, it's haunted. Period.
It's reported to be haunted on all the websites too, whenever you look it up.
It is haunted. All right, so that was your first investigation, right?
I wouldn't really call it more of an investigation, more of us experimenting and seeing, because Ron did bring the camera and flash every time.
Yeah.
You had the old school camcorder.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it was like we were doing something outside of the norm.
Yeah.
And ever since that first one, I always wanted to do it again.
Uh-huh.
But again, living in Alabama, you don't have many options.
Because people aren't talking.
No, they don't talk about it. And that's the sad part. Now that I live in Ohio, it's everywhere. I am on 5 different Facebook groups. I think you're even in one of them.
You got me on one.
So, and I constantly go through those for ideas, and I'll even reach out going, hey, I'm thinking of booking this place. Do you know of anything?
Yeah.
And it's very friendly. It's a very good group. Everybody comments back and forth on.
Uh-huh.
So, and there's so many places I still want to go.
Yeah.
But I've been to so many places that at one point, all I ever saw them on was YouTube. And not once did I ever think I'd actually be able to be standing inside of that place. And to be able to be in those places is amazing.
So, what was I know it was years in between, because I know I haven't done any kind of ghost hunting in a long time because of those experiences I've had in the haunted house and because of what happened to me in the plantation house. I'm not scared. I want to be protected because I know something otherworldly. People say demons. Others say spirits. There's something out there. All I can tell you, there's something out there. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It's like I'm still curious. I still want to do this kind of stuff, but I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way, where don't get followed or don't get attachments. So what do you do to prepare yourself? Like, this is the first thing you do when you don't get on site.
Honestly, I don't do anything when I get on site. I'm going to be 100% honest. When we get to a location, whether now that I do solos, but as a group, when we get there, the first thing we do is we meet the owner. We get the history of the location. Some places I like to go in blind. because I want to experience something for myself instead of them going, oh yeah, they see a lady walk down this hallway. Because then what's going to happen the whole night? I'm going to be like, oh, well, they say a lady walks down this hallway. I'm going to see a lady in this hallway.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't happened yet like that. So I do try to get baseline knowledge of a place. And if there's anything big, I want to know about it. But as in preparation, I don't do a prayer. I don't say anything. I don't do anything. I go straight into it. Everything we do is after we leave. And I'm the one that does it. Normally, Taylor and Eric will have to remind me because I do forget. But it's the simplest thing in the world. When we get ready to leave, we're wrapped up for the night. We've got our bags ready, cameras loaded, and we're going out to the car to leave to drive home. Before I walk out that door, I just turn around and I thank them. I let them know, hey, thank you for letting us in here tonight to speak to you. Hopefully we got a chance to talk to you. But just to let you know, you are not allowed to come with me. You are now allowed to leave. This is where you are to stay. But thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here. And I say bye. And I close the door and leave. Nothing has happened. Nothing has followed me home so far. And I say that because I have forgotten to do it once. And Eric and Hannah didn't remind me about it until we were halfway home. So I was like, well, it won't be. Yeah, Eric and Taylor completely forgot to remind me. And I was like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And so they think there's something at our house. And I'm not going to say there is or isn't because nothing has happened.
You haven't seen anything or heard anything.
I haven't seen or heard anything. But my dad will hear random knocks and nobody will be there. He has had, now this is the one that I'm still trying to think is due to air pressure causing it, but 2 cowboy hats flew off their rack.
They've never done that before.
Never did it before. Never. But there is a door here, and the garage there. And in my head, because I have to look at it as, oh, it's just not a ghost, it's something else. Garage door is possibly up. Back door got shut. This door got open, and the timing was just right for the wind to hit it and launch only 2 of the 3 hats on there off. That's what I tell myself. So
I don't know if that's good.
It makes sense in my head. Is the science true? Probably not. But that's the little things here and there. And that's just what they think. I don't think anything has followed us.
Okay.
So that's what we do every time. I even do it when me and Jonathan went on the group hunts. We do it before we leave. Even though there's a group of people there that aren't just me and him, and it's being hosted by a group called Erie Excursions in Ohio.
So no prayer or anything?
No, don't do anything like that. I know some groups do. I just literally tell them, thank you. Thank you for, allowing us to be here. You just can't come with me. You have to stay.
So I have a question, and because I believe in it, but I don't know what other people believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that there are some entities or whatever that aren't like attached to a particular place. It's like they wander. Like
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe I've had visitors come in my house at times. Like whatever it is comes by, does whatever it wants to do as far as like tries to get me to acknowledge it or Turner to acknowledge it and whatever. And I've always told them, if you see or hear anything, just ignore it. Because 9 times out of 10, if you don't show what I think is a visitor is, that they're there, they leave. So I don't know, what is your take? Do you believe that you could possibly get, quote unquote, a visitor?
I don't know how to answer that. I really don't, because I don't go into it thinking that's going to happen. Could it possibly happen with how we do things and it not being an exact science or any right or wrong way to do things? There's a possibility, yes, that even though I'm telling them, hey, you need to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that, yes, that could happen. Is that a risk? 100%. So, yeah, there could be someone that they just jump from place to place. And a lot of it could be, it's not really a visitor per se. It could be somebody that, and I'm going to use what the owner of the Post Town Elementary says, the guy that lives in it.
Yeah.
They're at the elementary because it was the happiest time of their life.
Okay.
So even though there's some tragic things that have happened on the site where that school is built, people are like, if kids haven't died here, then why do you have kids? Why are there kids' spirits that you think are here? Well, when you're a little kid and you're in kindergarten, first or second grade or third grade, what's the happiest time? What do you remember the most when you were a little kid? You had fun at school with your friends.
Yeah. Well, see,
so that's why he thinks that's their happiest time. And I follow that to a point, but I also truly, strongly believe that some things are just residual to the point of if they did things in different multiple places, that's where they're going to be at.
Yeah, that's what I get that too, because it's like I don't think I'd want to be at a school. That wouldn't be my most fun place to be.
No, not when I'm a little kid. No, I'd rather be at home playing in my backyard, or riding a bike, or playing video games. But that's what he feels is going on.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know about that. I'm trying to see. I don't think my chat's working.
No, you just popped up on my homepage there.
Oh, did I? I don't think my chat's working. I'm just looking to see, make sure, because I know I got. Okay, cool. It is. It's fine. Just making sure. What would be like your holy grail on an investigation? Because some people are like, oh, if you see a full body apparition, that's the holy grail. Would that be your holy grail?
I always ask to be touched.
I'm not trying to be perverted. Let's talk about that.
No, I mean 100%. 100%. Every time I'm in a location, even with Eric and Taylor, I always say, touch me. You have permission to touch me. Grab my hand. Just whatever. I want to see if there's a lot of people I say, oh my God, something just touched me. Something just grabbed my shoulder.
Or just a cobweb.
Yeah. I always ask for that. But like the ultimate of ultimate evidence is always going to be a full body apparition.
Yeah.
Always. In this, I will say this as loud and as clear as I possibly can. Out of every video I have ever watched, every series I have ever watched, when someone says ghost caught on camera, shadow man caught on camera, and I watch it, yes, I'm going to watch your whole video because you're telling me you caught something no one else has ever been able to capture.
And they didn't catch it.
They caught nothing. It could be the camera's doing it and you might see just a quick little flicker. That's nothing.
That could be a shadow off a light or something.
Yeah. If I'm telling you I want to catch a full body apparition on camera, that is me putting a camera down. You see me in shot, Eric, whoever's there in shot, and then you see someone that's not supposed to be there. And you see them. You just don't go, ooh, look, that's them. No. You know they're in the room. That no one has ever caught that. And until that happens, I think that's everybody's holy grail. Because that will be the ultimate answer, the ultimate just evidence that something else is there.
It's almost like getting Bigfoot like in zoom, like zoomed in, you can actually see every
you see him.
on, but there's a Bigfoot.
That's like the holy grail, but since that's going to be the near impossible thing to happen, I always ask for him to grab my hand. Every time.
Has that ever happened? Have you ever been touched?
No. Not yet.
Never been touched.
I've had the sensation of someone behind me. Like the very first post town video, we did the Estes method.
Breath on your
Well, you know how you can always feel like someone's coming up behind you or coming into your side. You just
feel that. You feel that.
Yeah. So I was in a chair behind the mean teacher's desk doing an Estes method, and Eric and Taylor in the room across. So no one was in the room with me.
That's scary,
dude. It's a rush, but it is scary as hell. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm sitting there, and I'm blind. I have my hoodie over my eyes are closed, and I have the headphones on, and I have the SB7 going, just going through. They're asking questions from the other room. So I can't hear what they're saying.
Out what the words come out.
Whatever I'm hearing. And out of nowhere, I'm just like, I feel like someone is standing behind me. Because it felt like something was trying to like touch me, but they weren't touching me. It was just like the weirdest
Like, I'm
sensation.
not touching you. I'm not.
Yeah, it was like the weirdest thing, and I didn't know how to take that. And then I felt like somebody was coming at me this direction. And when Eric and Taylor finally came in the room,
Did you swing? Start swinging?
no, I took my headset off because I heard Eric a little bit.
Yeah.
So I lifted everything up and I was like, how long y'all been here? Said, oh, we just came in the room. I said, oh my God, it felt like somebody was walking up on me this direction. And then I had the sensation of somebody sitting behind me, just like right there.
It's like you're in school, sitting there, somebody behind you, and they're messing with you.
Yes, and it was the most insane feeling. And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anything. I can't hear anything. So everything's just gone. I'm in just utter darkness. And it's fun.
So about being touched. You know, the Shogun's been shut down for a while now, right? And the last time I went to Shogun, I'm sitting, like here's the walkway where you can like walk into the room, and I'm sitting right here on the corner, and I felt on my shoulder, and I look back and there's nobody there, and I look real quick to see if somebody's messing with me. Everybody's sitting down, right?
That's
so
good stuff.
So I look at Ashley. I said, I just tapped me on the shoulder. She said, "There ain't nobody behind you." I said, "I know." So I think that Shogun. But I don't know.
Be interesting.
I don't know who owns it or anything else. But it'd be I think that'd be a really good hot spot.
Yeah, we did a restaurant. We've done a restaurant.
So how does that?
That one is that's hard to do because it's an open business.
Oh, it's like still going.
Yeah, it's an actual functioning business. We went and ate dinner there and everything before the investigation. We met the owners. They showed us footage of what they caught on their cameras inside the kitchen. But it's an acting business, so you get a lot of ice machines, refrigerators. So a lot of well, we caught that on one of the video when we did the video. We're like, because Taylor, I went somewhere, I can't remember what I was doing, but they're like, Jesse, something just made a big bang in the kitchen because we were doing a session in there.
Yeah,
never knew what it was until we started rewatching all the footage, and it was the refrigerator kicking itself out of defrost. We caught the exact same sound earlier in the night. But because we weren't in the kitchen, we didn't hear it. But because they were in there just at that time when it happened, we could say, okay, we got scared.
Yeah.
But this is what it truly is. And it's hard to do because you go in their basement. It's just nonstop. You have the drink machine for some reason will kick on and off when no one's using it, which was really weird.
Yeah.
So, but you hear everything. The freezers are kicking on and off. So it's very loud.
Yeah.
So we didn't have.
So you really couldn't catch anything EVP wise.
No, you really couldn't. We had a good night because there's a huge story into that place about children and a fire and everything else with the house across the street. That's why that video is actually titled "The Ghost Children of Wendelin 2.0."
Okay.
Because they think it's inhabited by the 3 children that died in the house fire across the street when their mom was in there shopping with their other sibling when it was originally a general store back in the day.
Wow.
So the house caught on fire. The mom didn't know about it. She goes across the street. Her house is on fire.
She can't get her kids.
Can't get her kids. And the sad part is she goes to open the door. She can't open the door because her kids' dead bodies are blocking the door because they're trying to get out. So, and someone actually lives in that house to this day.
Someone lives there?
Yeah, someone lives there. But it's one of those things where they really truly feel everything in their children related. So our whole investigation was based off kids.
It's sad. I had a lot of dread.
It's very sad. Very, very, very sad. I mean, it's the first time we ever used our music box we bought, which it isn't the greatest music box, but it works. And it's the first time we ever had that actually work. But because of how this restaurant was laid out, we didn't have the camera on it.
Yeah.
So we didn't capture it happening, but you can hear us talking back and forth on it. But we didn't put that in the video because it was kind of not needed because we're just off camera and you're just hearing me and Eric go, walk up again. No, back up. I don't think that's the right way you went. Now walk up again. No, you went this way. I think I went this way. So I was like,
so you're basically just trying to like
recreate it to see if it caused it, but we have nothing to prove that it happened. So I was like, we can leave it in, which would be really funny.
Yeah.
or we just don't use it at all. So we didn't
Put
use
some
it at
little
all.
funky music in there in that little spot. Right
Yeah,
there,
it'd be like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Well, they're arguing back and forth about who went what direction to set
Yeah.
what off. But
put a little humor in some of those.
we try to do. Taylor does edit it that way with some humor put in here and there.
I'll ask you off camera what she uses because I've got to figure out some editing software. Because there's some.
She hates the one she uses just to kind of answer your question. She hates using it.
Never mind.
But I'll tell you which one it is, and it's one you have to pay for. Yeah, it's Adobe.
Adobe? Oh,
yeah.
I've heard mixed reviews on it.
Yeah, she hates it. Man, it does a good job. I use a free one.
Yeah,
that kind of works like that.
Shotgun or something.
No, it's something live, EV live or something. I can't remember the name of it. But I use it because I edit my solo videos because there's no need for me to involve everybody in it. I'm the one that did it.
Plus, you kind of know where you heard something and you can get to it quicker.
Yeah, so I edit all those myself through that. So my actual solo video, I put up a post down. I edit that one 100%. I know it ain't perfect, but I did it.
Oh yeah, Matt says my editing sucks.
And I love it. I love the fact that I was able to do that. Now, did I ask for help? Yes. Did I use Google? Yes.
What is the biggest obstacle doing a solo investigation?
Don't take more than one camera because we use two.
Okay.
Currently, all we use is two. So post down, first time doing a solo. What I ended up doing is I was like, my head, this worked out perfectly. I'm going to have a static cam down mean teacher hallway. I'm going to go investigate one part of the school for 30, 40 minutes, go put that on charge, come and get the static cam, move it down to the break room, charge it. While it's charging, I'm going to take the camera I just used, put it on a tripod, and go take it to another area of the school, set it up, then run back to the break room, pick up the other camera that was charging along the IR light, then get my book bag of toys, go to where I want to investigate, and then rinse and repeat. Sucked.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you were doing more of a chore. It was more of a chore than an actual investigation to me.
It was, and I changed it halfway through the night to where one camera was the static cam and the other camera was the filming cam.
Yeah.
Because I got tired of charging and redoing and charging. So I ended up that's the weird thing when I did the edit. The mean teacher hallway cam wasn't the camera that I used for the rest of the night as the static cam. It was only used as the static cam once. Then it turned into my normal cam, and the cam I started doing first turned into the static cam for the rest of the investigation.
Okay.
So it stayed on the tripod, which saved me some time.
Okay.
But then I had to map out how I was going to do this. That was the biggest obstacle, was just because I'm filming.
So walking through dark, scary hallways is not an obstacle.
Well, I know the entire layout of the school.
Okay.
I know it by heart. I know exactly where to go, where to turn, what room is where. I know it like the back of my hand.
Yeah, some people get that crippling feeling when they get in a dark area and they know it's haunted, and it's like, oh.
I get that the first time I ever go to a place.
So when you first get there, you're like, I'm terrified. Right?
Yes. So we did Post Town. First time we ever did Post Town as a group, I had that feeling for the entire night. Every corner, I was like, something's going to jump out at me. I'm going to see a face. I'm going to see a kid run down this hallway. I was terrified. And in all honesty, the scariest place in all of Post Town is the gymnasium because it's underground.
So
the way the school is laid out is basement is gym, cafeteria. First floor is is a couple of classrooms, hallways. All the rest of the classrooms are upstairs.
Okay.
So when you go downstairs, you're in the basement, which is going to be cafeteria, kitchen, gymnasium.
Okay.
That's the most terrifying place there.
The gymnasium.
The gymnasium, because it's so big.
Right?
But it's because it's so big and there's multiple entry points.
Yeah.
That's the most terrifying part of it. So there, I always get it when I go in the gym. But I was by myself because I'd been there multiple times. I was already ready for it. So it didn't really get to me too much. Do I still get that sense of, I wouldn't say dread, but that sense of, have to take a deep breath? Every time I do. Every time. But anytime we go to a new location, like when we first went to Broadwell, me and Eric, everywhere we went. Every time we went up the stairs. Every time we went in a new room. We went to the mysterious Monroe house everywhere we went because that house is also, there's another name for that house, and it's also called the Monroe Demon House. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And fun fact, it's the cheapest place you can rent to investigate overnight in Ohio for $175 no matter what day.
Because there's a demon in there.
Nope. Because it stays booked. You cannot book a Friday or Saturday almost at all.
So they do it cheaper because it's going to be booked anyways.
Oh, yeah. They sell out almost every single month. Every single month. $175. It's in Hartford City, Indiana.
Hartford. So how far is that away from you?
For me, it is 2 hours.
Okay. You've been there, you said? Yeah. Okay. How many times have you been there?
Once, but I'm going to do a solo there.
All right. So did you catch a lot of activity in that?
That one, we didn't catch. That's the house where we actually got the response to the hide and seek.
No. Okay.
We got the response there. Me and Taylor actually had to go check it out to see if it was wind or a tree branch, and there was nothing that should have caused it on the window at all.
Do you feel like your solos, you'll get more activity doing solo? Is that what you feel? Is that how you feel?
I feel that way, yes, because the very first time we ever did it at Post Town, a group called POV Paranormal was the host paranormal group for the school at the time.
Okay.
When we met with the guy and his daughter, he said, "There's only 3 of you tonight?" And we're like, "Yeah, only 3 of us." He goes, "Good. You normally get more activity when there's smaller groups."
That's good. Well, yeah, that makes sense though, right?
It does. In my head, I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
If there's only 2 of us or 1 of us or 3 of us,
Especially when you spread out too.
Yeah, especially if we decide to one time go, hey, guess what? You got basement, you got this floor, I got this floor. We're all in a floor by ourselves.
Well, Eric's not doing basements.
Well, he'll do basements, but not
what he
basements.
Okay.
It's very weird.
Gotta watch that video.
Yeah, you do have to watch it because the whole time he's down there, he's hating life. He's hating life. It's so
Hate
funny.
life. If I was in a dark room,
It's so funny. I loved every minute of it, but it's so funny.
After you go back and watch it and get a kick out of it.
I've actually rewatched all my videos just because I have a blast watching how all of us respond differently to everything because we're 3 different people.
Absolutely.
But every time we do go to a place, we do get that sense of dread when we first go.
Everybody,
all 3 of us do.
It's like I really don't want to be here right now.
It's not more of that; it's more of okay. Interesting.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's Prospect Place was like that. Monroe House was like that. Blackford County Jail was like that.
Yeah.
Stone Manor, which is going to be our next video coming out, that one was like that. And we weren't even supposed to investigate that place. We were actually supposed to do the jail, but they had plumbing issues. So we had to reschedule that one completely and then ended up going to Stone Manor in place of that night. But every place we go, the minute we walk through the door, that's the first thing we get. It's just that sense of, and especially when we're left by ourselves when the owner leaves. When the owner leaves, and then we're like, okay, here's what they did there in the tour. Where are we going to set up? Where are we going to start? And then that's when everything sort of like fades away because then I'm in mode. I'm in that go mode. I'm like, okay, we need to make sure we have a camera facing here. We need to make sure we have this camera. This is what I'm going to take. I'm going to leave a recorder here. I'm going to make sure this REM pod has a new battery. This REM pod has a new battery. IR light. I'm in go mode.
Yeah.
But you still get that sense of every time you go up the stairs, you turn that corner. You don't know the house. You don't know the location.
You don't know what's there.
No. You just know what they've told you.
So have you, in any of your investigations, caught a shadow on camera?
The one time I thought I did, I did.
Was it to the light, I guess?
It was the first time it ever happened, we were coming down the hallway. I didn't have a camera, they did. So I'm leading the pack. And I turned the corner and I went like this with the flashlight, and there was 2 railings going like this. Doorway in the hallway at the very end. So when I turned like this, the shadow went across the back of the room like that. And I like bent down. I'm like, oh shit, guys, I think I caught something. So we went back and forth a few times with how they came around, everything, and we couldn't recreate it for the longest time. So in my head, I'm like, caught something. But we didn't have it on camera, so we didn't put it in. So we go back our second time to that location, which is Post Town again. And we turned that corner, and sure enough, when I turned that corner and did it again like this, you see that shadow go right across the back of that room again. I went, there it is. It was me. It wasn't my shadow. It was just the weird angle of my flashlight catching the pole.
Yeah.
So, but for Broadwell, when we're Eric Hate's basements, we do believe we caught something in a reflection of a window when no one was standing somewhere. So I leave it up for people to perceive what it is. I'm not going to straight up tell you, oh, there's a shadow man in that closet. I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
You need to watch it. You need to go, oh, that's just reflection of you coming in. We highlighted it because it didn't make sense why it was there. Because of where we're standing, where me and Eric are standing, makes no sense why we should catch a reflection from inside of a closet on the window when we're both on this side of the room. It makes no sense. So we do highlight that, but it's not, and I'm not straight up saying we caught a shadow man on camera. You need to, that's up to you to make. You're going to decide it now, because a lot of the times you'll notice in any of ours, we don't really put what we think we heard. Like, we're not going to put there, oh, we heard a voice. We heard this voice say, Jesse, get out. And we're not going to put that.
Yeah.
We normally put, unrecognizable. We don't know what that is. Possible footstep. We put question marks. I don't want to trick the people watching it into thinking what I'm putting on screen is what's really happening.
Yeah. You don't want to mislead them.
Yeah, because that can happen a lot. And I've seen that happen in a lot of other videos where you're watching it and they'll put, and now every time you watch it, all you're hearing is, and I'm like, but I'm not hearing it now after listening to it for 15 times.
Yeah. It's like,
so we don't even do that. We don't even repeat it.
I think that's just they're reaching.
A lot of people are. Yeah, a lot of them do.
Oh, I got something.
Yeah.
No, you really don't.
No, half of them, they don't. That's why there's only certain channels I watch, because I only trust certain channels.
So all right, so backtracking, going back, you personally had anything paranormal happening to get you where you are today? Like back when you were younger? Something.
Oh, God, yeah. So back when we lived in Lubbock, Texas, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's what happened and what sort of made me believe in it. So we lived in Lubbock, Texas. My grandma lived at a house on 64th in Indiana, and she had a dog that got ran over on 64 on Indiana and died. So my friend Nathan from up the street stayed the night at my house and at my grandma's house, and we're in the living room playing Nintendo. Just do. And I start having the sense of something watching me. Like we're sitting there playing, and then in the dark room playing Nintendo, and we feel like something's behind us. Both of us were like, do you think someone's in the kitchen? Because the kitchen, the next thing behind us is the kitchen. And he goes, yeah, I do. So I turn around, nothing's there. I'm like, oh, that's odd. Figured, my grandma might have been in there. Her husband, Kenneth, at the time might have been in there. And it was like, this is odd. Very, very odd. So we go back, play Nintendo, being kids. And next thing I know, out of the corner of my eye, because he's sitting here closest to the couch. I'm sitting here closest to the fireplace, which is closest to the entryway to the house. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a dog sitting in the entryway. My grandma didn't have another dog.
Did it look like?
That was her dog that got hit by the car.
It looked like a dog.
Yeah. And I just slowly do like this, and I catch a quick glimpse of the dog sitting there. And when I turn full, it's gone. And I was like, did you see that? He's like, see what? I said, oh, nothing.
He didn't see it?
He didn't know. Because where he was sitting at, it's basically like we're side by side playing a 2-player game. And I just see it. And I just slowly turn, and then I turn full, gone, and I turn back, and he's still looking at the TV.
Has no clue.
No clue. And I'm like, that's the weirdest thing to make me believe in ghosts is seeing a dead dog. And that freaked me out for the longest time. That's the only time I can say I saw something out of the corner of my eye. And I've never seen it again. I've never seen something else like that before, which was the craziest thing, because my grandma was massive religious. So what really shocked me was that part because of how religious she was for something like that to happen.
You said it goes though.
Yeah.
And so that's what got you going.
That got me going, okay, what did I just see?
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell anybody because when you're a kid, what happens when you tell grown-ups you just saw a dead dog? They're going to go, oh, no, you didn't. You didn't see anything. So I just kept it.
Tricks on
Yeah, it's just stayed with me. And then over the years, there's little things here and there where I'll be dead asleep and I'll have my name called to, and nobody will be there. I mean, I've woken up at the house we're currently in. I have woken up to my name just going, Jesse. Nobody's there.
So you never had the Ghostbusters race dance experience?
No, never had that. Never had that. But I've had that happen multiple times. Now, could that be because I was in a deep sleep? Possibly.
Yeah.
But for it to happen that much to where it happens quite frequently, I just get woke up in the middle of the night to, yes. And I'll even turn around and look at my wife, and she's asleep.
What does the voice sound like?
It's just the voice. It's just a whisper.
So you can't.
I can't tell if it's male or female. All I hear is a whisper go, yes. My name clear as day.
So you don't. So you had that's the only paranormal experience you've had as a dog when you were younger, and then now even to this day you wake up to.
I hear my name,
and you're not worried about an attachment or anything.
Not one bit.
So what are your plans for J.E.T Paranormal?
To continue doing what we're doing.
Do you have like a what would be like your Super Bowl place to go investigate? Or give me your top 5.
Top 5 places. I do want to do the Sally House in Kansas.
Okay.
I want to do the Axe Murder House because they're supposedly connected. So those two definitely I do want to do. There is the Ohio Reformatory, which is a prison, and I'm talking massive prison, not tiny little county jail. I'm talking massive prison.
Penitentiary or something like that?
Yes, but it's $3,000. So that ain't happening anytime soon. So it's in my top 5.
The bucket list.
Yeah, that's massive bucket list. Let's see where else. Oh, I can do the Jim Jones Church.
Where's that at?
It's in Indiana.
Okay.
It's not the church, of course, where the Kool-Aid and all that crap happens, but it's the church that he started preaching at, and they call it the Jim Jones Church.
And that's haunted.
It is reportedly to be haunted. There have been multiple groups in there that have caught things, and it's actually ran by the same group that does the Blackford County Jail, the Stone Manor, the Speakeasy, Centerville Church. They actually have that properties now as well for them to renovate. So you can book it through them up there in the Indiana area. So that's one of them. God, there's so many, man. There's so many cool places.
Naming them. Top 5.
I'm just thinking out
of what's that place in Denver? You'll say that.
Oh, Stanley Hotel?
Yeah, Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, Stanley Hotel's good. That's a fun place. I don't think you can do a private investigation there unless you got money because it's a constant hotel. It's booked. The haunted rooms are booked years in advance. So you can't even get the 2 reportedly booked rooms unless you're on a waiting list.
YouTubers getting them.
They're YouTubers. They're using they probably, in all honesty, they probably are some of the people that have booked it, but they're probably not able to investigate the whole hotel because there are guests. So they're probably like, hey, okay, you can do this and this and this. So they probably have some privilege because of who they are. So if I ever get to that grade, awesome.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't want to fake it to make it.
Okay.
I don't want to be screaming in every video. I don't want to yell in every video. I don't want to say every place has a demon in it. I do not put demon in my titles because that's just not good.
Unless you get scratched.
Yeah.
If you get scratched, maybe.
If you get scratched, then you got to look at it, and say, okay, what caused it? What happened? And a lot of places do frown on people saying there's a demon. A lot of places do frown on it because they don't want that negative energy thrown their way. Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to book a place and it's reportedly haunted.
What about Bobby Mackey's?
That got tore down. That's getting tore down. Yep. So I think the last couple of investigations happened.
I think that place was haunted. That place was cursed.
That place was bad.
That place just straight.
It was originally on one of my lists of I do want to go there,
I never want.
but it's one of those where I'm also like, do I really want to touch it?
Even when I watched the TV shows on it, I was like, I don't even know if I could get on that property. Even if I drove by, I don't know if I could make myself stop because of how much blood was shed there, and how evil that place sounded like it was.
Yeah, it originally was one of the ones I did want to attempt to do because we live close to it.
Yeah,
but I was like, yeah, no, like we won't go to a place where a mass murder happened.
So if I don't think the evil goes away. It's going to be on that land.
It's going to be there because I will say we've experienced residual.
Yeah,
and I could see that being a residual stain in that area just because of everything that's happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do I think it's somewhat intelligent in that location? Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, there's intelligence there. But I think there's a lot of residual tied in with it.
So you haven't, but the only, we'll just broadly say this paranormal thing you've heard physically is waking up to your name. Like
No.
physically, have you heard it?
Yes, and that's the clip that I sent you from Blackford County Jail.
That's the one. Okay, so you said, did you hear that? So you did hear that. Okay.
Yes, it actually happened twice in that room, and it happened once on the tour. And that place, we specifically told them we did not want to know any history of hauntings because I knew enough from the videos I've watched.
If you want to see that clip, watch that video.
Yeah, it's going to be the next one. We're working on it next, but that one got me a little bit, and I know
I can tell you were pretty like
because at first my first thought, even after re-listening to it to get ready for when we start editing to make it go out, was that has to be an owl. That has to be an owl. But then I started listening to it more, and I'm like, that's not an owl. That's not an owl at all.
You were like borderline about to freak out.
Oh, I was.
So you were so close to just like lose it, but like you kept your composure. After you kind of like watching you, what was that? And then all of a sudden you just kind of like look like you just took a deep breath and like, all right, let's try to rationalize and see what that was now. Let's try to like deduct.
Yeah, we went back and forth on that one quite a bit because me and Eric ended up switching sides in that room. At one point, I let him be over there, and I guess he was such in the moment. Like, oh my God, I just heard it. I said, you didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything, man. Switch with me. And I go over there, and I'm just sitting. We're asking questions. We're doing our thing. And next thing you know, boom, it happens again. I said, oh my God, did you just hear that? And he goes, yes. And
so, you heard it twice.
We've heard it. I heard it twice in that room and once on the tour because the tour guide even stopped and went, "Don't just hear that." And then the lady that was with him even went and started opening windows. There was no one outside the jail. No one outside the jail for to make that noise, and it was inside that we heard it. So, but we also catch footsteps in that location.
Okay.
Very loud, very audible footsteps that we cannot figure out where they came from.
If you want to see these, you got to watch the videos. I'm not putting them on here. I'm not giving you a cheat sheet.
No, it's that one. That one actually, I think, has my best reactions in it when that video comes out. It's my best reactions because I'm literally like,
what was this? What was that?
Did you hear that? Get the camera. I mean, I have my best reactions in that one completely. Just,
do you feel like you get, like, say for instance, you're not rolling right at that moment. You're kind of taking a break. Do you feel like, and I've seen people miss some really good content when they're not filming. Then they start filming again. It's like, I just heard this. I'm waiting to hear it again, and then it never happens. Nothing like
that's happened to us once.
Just once?
Yeah. Well, we try to make sure we're rolling at all times, at least on one camera. So when first time we ever went to Broadway, when it was just me and Eric, after we did the tour with the owner Mike, and he's a great guy. I mean, he's all about giving you the full blown history every time you go there.
That's good.
But we go through after he leaves, and we have the ghost tube app out, and we don't have a camera rolling, but I'm just walking the house, seeing how I want to do our night. I'm getting like actual good responses to things. And as we're going down the stairs, it says, "Hey, where are you going?" It said it on the app. It said, "Where are you going?"
What is a ghost tube app? What does that do?
Short answer is it uses the electromagnetic field and all this stuff, and it's a word bank generator, basically, in a nutshell.
Okay.
It takes where you're at and it generates words. Is it actual intelligent responses? I have yet to have a full-blown conversation with something that has proven that that is what it is.
Okay.
I use it as more of a filler, a gap filler.
Okay.
I help it guide the investigation.
That makes sense.
So if we're in a location, minus the fact that my name has come through the app. Yeah, that's not fun. Minus that, I use it, and that's what that app was doing. When we first did it, I'm not gonna lie, I almost believed everything that came out of this app. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Well, then I started catching on to it a little bit, little by little. So now I challenge it. But during that Broadwell thing, we were getting intelligent responses to the point of we're just walking around going, hey, if you're here, Rosalie, if you're just asking questions, and we're getting responses. So I'm like, Eric, we need to go get the cameras. We're missing out on some stuff because we hadn't even started yet. As we're going down the stairs, where are you going? Just straight up on the ghost tube. It said, where are you going? And we were just like, we're getting cameras. Don't go anywhere. Like, this thing's honestly going to know what a camera is, according to how old this little girl is that died in the house. I'm like, why am I telling this app that I'm getting cameras?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that does happen, and it has happened. That's why we always make sure there's one camera rolling
At all times.
just to make sure. So we always have a static cam now that is positioned center point, and according to the size of the location, it is center point, so we can always make sure all sounds are picked up.
Yeah.
And then we can eliminate ourselves. We always try to stay in frame. And if we're not in frame, we will say, get in frame, Eric. Normally it's Eric and then me. So we try to do all that, but we do have instances at the very beginning of this whole journey we started. We weren't recording it all the time.
Absolutely.
We weren't recording all of the tours of the house. We weren't doing B-roll. We weren't doing any of that. We're new at this. We don't know what we're doing. We're just hitting record and praying to God it looked good.
And that's what I try to do here. I just hit live and pray to God I don't screw it up.
But it's so much fun.
Has Taylor or Eric heard a disembodied voice with their ears physically?
You're asking questions that I can answer for them because, yes, me and Eric have. Yes, Taylor has. So, post town, second trip, we heard what people call a mimic. I heard someone mimic Eric's voice.
Ooh.
We were in the stairwell. I always call her the Sally stairwell, but they said it's another girl's name. I can't remember the name, but I'll always call it the Sally stairwell. Well, we're standing at the bottom. Eric's at the gymnasium entrance. I'm at the other entrance because we're in the basement part. And Eric just freaks out and goes, Jesse, I just heard something. Now, again, I didn't hear it. Only he did. Then we swap. I said, well, let me get in there. So I go in there. I'm not hearing anything. Eric is now on my left. I'm here. Out of nowhere, I just asked a random question. I hear a response from Eric. 100%. I thought it was Eric. I said, what was that?
I thought you were talking to Eric.
Yes. I said, what was that? And he goes, oh, I think I heard it. I was like, okay. I didn't think nothing of it. I go home and I watch the footage and I get to that section when it happened. I got Marie involved. I got Taylor involved. I said, who does that sound like? And they're like, well, it almost sounds like Eric, but it's not Eric. So Eric listened to it.
That's
he said,
insane.
He's like, that sounds like me. I
So
said,
he's even freaking out now.
Yeah, he was like, but that's not me. Because it's not loud enough to be, because the cameras have the microphones on the top.
Yeah.
We don't use any lapel mics or anything. We just use what's on the camera.
Absolutely.
So you hear us going back and forth, and you literally hear me respond to whatever that is. And it's not words. It's just a sound that comes across sounding like Eric. And then when I say, what was that? That's when he responds with, I just heard it. So I answered to something that he heard. So that was weird.
Yeah.
Then what he had heard sounded like, to me and Taylor, it sounded like a growl. It sounded like a little,
I was freaked out.
sounded like a little, a deep throaty growl.
But, yeah.
And that's how he describes it later on. And when we listen back, sure as hell, we hear a ugh. And I didn't hear it, but he did.
Yeah.
So we've heard that. And then when we're at Prospect Place, we're in one of the rooms upstairs. She's setting up the camera in the corner and she's having an issue. And she hears, pick it up. Just hears a female tell her to pick it up. Very faint. And she turns around and goes, did y'all just hear that? We're like, no, we didn't hear anything. She goes, something just told me to pick it up.
So Taylor, how did she respond? I mean,
She didn't freak out or anything.
She's just like, I know I'm in a haunted place. Something like this.
Yeah, she just went, did y'all just hear that? And we're like, hear what? She goes, something just told me to pick it up. And I said, no, we didn't hear it. So we marked it. We remembered it.
Yeah.
So when I go back and listen to it, it actually happens twice.
So is any of you three sensitive?
I don't think we are.
Taylor and Eric hearing things like I don't hear things all the time, but sometimes I do, and it makes me think that there's a limit of maybe a little sensitivity there as far as like hearing stuff. If you can physically hear stuff, because a lot of people don't physically hear it. It's only a select few that actually physically hear something that you can't. So when you said Taylor heard it twice, you said Taylor heard it twice?
She heard it once, and when I replayed the video, I went through and edited it. I only heard it once. So when me and her sat down and did our group edit to go through to make sure nothing was missed and we liked how it was going, she actually catches it twice. One of it is faint. One of them is a little bit clear.
Yeah.
So, and it's when she's moving something on a table to reposition the camera because the camera wouldn't slide into the tripod.
So you think she was telling her to pick it up and get the hell out, maybe?
We don't know what the interaction was. We don't know if it was because they were telling her to pick it up to like move it so she could put the camera down, or she was telling them to pick up the camera and put it where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So we've heard that. Then in the Monroe House basement, we didn't hear it, but we catch an audible female voice go, and there's nobody in the house but us. And it's in the basement.
Check that video out.
So it's the weirdest thing how we catch these things, but audible wise, yes, we've all heard something with our own ears. We have heard something.
Because I know, and it's funny because the house I lived in that was supposedly haunted, or I heard three or four different times, but I heard a voice. One was singing, one was like hello, and then the other one was no, maybe it was twice. I went from 4 to twice. I can't think right. I can't think of that. I can't think. Oh, you know what? I'm bringing up the plantation house where I heard that. But yeah, I've heard like 3 different times. It could be 4. I just can't think of it right now. But it seems like every time I get somewhere where it's like a plantation house, that's the first time I've ever been somewhere where, like, besides the house I've been at, and it was supposed to be haunted. And then I had that experience. I'm like, this is why I want to do this, but I don't at the same time. It's like, because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the one getting the experience.
Yeah.
I just want to go, like, watch somebody else get it. You're like, okay, I'm going with you. You get all. I'll sit here and just chill.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy. I really do. It's not that easy to me. It's more of, because we don't do it every month. We don't do it every week because we got full-time jobs.
Yeah.
You know, we've got responsibilities, and it ain't cheap because these places ain't free. So I try to do it the right way, but we go in wanting it to happen.
Absolutely.
We go in.
You want to get the evidence. You want to put that evidence out there.
We want it to happen, but we're not expecting it to happen. So that's why, like I said earlier, I do enjoy putting the dull, boring silence in there, because if I don't, then you're always going to think, oh, it's all fun and games and crap always happens. No. I'll be 100% honest. When I was at Broadwell for my solo that I just did about a month ago, and I haven't edited it yet, but quiet.
You think it was quiet? You haven't checked the evidence.
I haven't checked the evidence yet. I know there's a few times where I heard some noises that I couldn't explain, but it was quiet. I mean, like dead quiet. And that happens 98.5% of the time, it's quiet. It's not like these other channels, the fake, and I will call them fake channels. It's not like they portray it to where the minute you walk in, you're seeing shit flown off of a table, you're seeing doors slam shut. It doesn't work that way.
So you've never seen anything fly off?
No, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way.
I feel that way. I don't.
It's like, and I don't like name dropping any of these people because people are going to watch them anyway.
Absolutely.
There's a guy named Yasko. He does them. He makes what I like to call horror movies.
Is he the one that that's Jasper?
That's it. That's who it is.
Now he's done some collabs with Oh My Gosh,
The Fam and Paranormal Files. He was also part of Oh My Gosh's Alone series.
Yes.
So
did you watch the Alone series?
I did.
They're pretty good.
I did. Paranormal Nightmare was on there, and I like Paranormal Nightmare, even though they have done a few things with some fake channels. But
Mozart G. I like watching, but he's
fake as shit.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie, he's fake as shit. Yeah. But they all go in, and the reason they do it is because they know exciting videos are going to get more views.
People to watch,
and they just fake everything. Not anything they do is legit. There's nothing they can say to make me think it's not legit. Because my wife, she watches my videos, but at the same time, she doesn't. She'll, like, when I put Jasco on, I watch it because it's funny. I don't watch it because I'm like, ooh, let me see what I can do that he does. No, I watch it because it's funny. And she's like, why are you watching this idiot?
Yeah.
It's fake.
So oh my gosh, I watched a lot of his stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of his over like 5 years ago stuff,
yeah.
Right? And I would put him as legit, but there are also people out there saying that he faked his stuff. I can't say he did or didn't. But I know Mo. Now, Mo, I like watching you. I still watch you. But some of your stuff's a little outlandish.
Oh, it's very outlandish. His farm, where he sells the dirt, and he has a coffin in his house. And I'll tell you, there's a guy that stayed there. I don't remember his name because it wasn't important enough for me to remember.
Yeah.
But he's like sitting in a room at that farmhouse, and next thing you know, a book comes flying in the room. And I'm not talking like I'm talking like that. A baseball player chunked this thing at him like Randy Johnson style. Okay. And he's like, what was that? All nonchalantly when this thing flew by his face. Goes and finds it and picks it up and goes, oh, I guess it wanted me to read this. Starts going through it and another book comes flying in. What was that? Dude, come off it.
Yeah.
You got someone standing in the kitchen throwing shit at you, and you don't know how to react. It's entertainment. Don't tell me it's a true paranormal investigation. It's not real paranormal. It's a movie to you.
Yeah.
That's what Jasco does. He makes little movies. If you watch his crap, it builds up all the way to the end how a movie would. And he's even gone as far as faked infrared. He's even went as far as the fake that saying, all right, guys, the iPhone has this new thing where you can see infrared on it and heat signatures. So I'm going to slowly do it across the room. And he has a guy sitting in a chair on the second floor and goes, okay, y'all let me know if y'all see anything.
Yeah, because I downloaded one of those heat things on my phone. And I'm like, this ain't doing nothing. Can't.
And he caught a guy sitting in a chair on the second floor acting like he didn't see it. Then the next video, he goes off and goes, oh, guys, y'all told me I missed this completely. I don't know how I missed it. If you're looking in the thing, you're going to see a guy sitting there.
Yeah.
So he makes movies. He makes short movies. That's exactly what he's known for. Again, I've been camping like he does. Yeah. I've never had anybody come up to my campsite and try to scare me. Unless it was a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why would I go camping in the middle of the woods?
I'm going in the middle of the woods. I'm swimming by myself.
No, there's more fake channels than there are real channels.
Yeah.
So I watch the fake channels on what not to do.
Absolutely.
And I watch the channels that I know are legit on what to do.
Okay, so look at this. And I'm going to bring up Ghost Hunters, the series. Mm-hmm. Oops, sorry. They never fabricated, as far as Jason Halls said, they never fabricated their stuff. And when the producers wanted to fabricate, they decided, we're not.
Yeah, Grant got caught doing it on camera with the jacket.
So Jason's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, because he does not want to, even though his daughter is caught up in a huge thing right now with the Conjuring house.
Yep.
And the toes and the cracking, and they will not bow away from it, that they're faking that.
Yep.
And everybody knows they are.
So Jason is like, I think I follow him on YouTube now, but he's.
I watch his stuff now too.
When he told me, hey, I didn't want to fabricate this stuff, so that's why I said, I'm like, okay. Because at first when I found out somebody was saying that, I was like, come on, man. You guys were like the go-to for me. You guys were like legit. You threw out stuff that was like sus. Like, well.
I mean, they called out that restaurant for faking everything.
Yep.
They said, you bring us in here on TV. You bring us in here to investigate this. And we can't investigate and tell you what's real evidence or not because you fake everything that's going on in here. Because they found the mirror crap they were doing, the screams in the ceiling. They called them out on their bullshittery.
Yep. So this is what Jesse and Jet Paranormal are doing. They've molded their channel to be more like the original Ghost Hunters, not the fabricated stuff. And like you said, you're going to get some videos. You're going, when's something going to happen? When's something happen? Because, like I said, sometimes nothing happens at all.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's still entertainment. It's still fun because you're like, when's it going to happen? If it's going to happen, because they're not going to timestamp. This happened this time.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to watch videos. Now, Jesse did say that the basement was towards the end of the video.
Mm-hmm.
So the basement for Eric not liking basements.
We always put the basement at the end if we do a basement. I always intentionally put the basement at the end. It's always the last place we go.
Hey, Kristen. Okay. Is there anything else you want to throw at us about maybe the future of Jet? Or
I can tell you we are going to possibly be going to Bill Manor, which is up near Toledo, Ohio, at some point before the end of the year. It is a place where it's called the Home of the Wayward Children. It was used as an orphanage at one point. Kids with special needs. So it's going to be an interesting location. I am going to try and get us more locations every year because I do all the research and all the bookings.
We're also going to do
Yes.
We're going to meet in the middle somewhere and go to a haunted location. My buddy Matt that does the Yakking Wax with Me podcast. I'm gonna try to get him to come with me too.
Yeah, I mean, so far I found one location. I got to see if it's doable for everybody because you're looking at sleeping somewhere and everything else. Unless you can find a place unless I can find a location where you can actually sleep at the location.
Yeah.
And every place we go to offers that. Okay. Except for the one I found for us.
Yeah. So if we do have Wi-Fi there at the place we go to, we collab. I might even do a podcast in the location. At some point of the investigation, I might just like, you know what, let's go live, let's do this, and we might pick something up doing that.
Yeah, that's honestly minus the Bill Manor one, which I am in the process of getting dates and all that. That's the next thing on the list is the thing with you. So I am trying to fit that in, minus some things we have, personal related we're going through. I'm trying to fit it in because it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, are you able to take this day off? Are you able to take this day off? Absolutely. Are you going to be able to take this day off?
Yeah, we're just going to, it's like putting a puzzle together.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to it. I think I've been, ever since you brought this channel up, or started this channel, I was like, I want to do a collab. I want to get out here and do that. But so I'm probably going to do a podcast in the middle of the investigation if they have Wi-Fi.
Most places do.
That'll be fun. Be a little, especially if we'll not even do it in the room where it's like the most activities going on. That would be even more fun. Well, might not be for my buddy Matt. He's a skeptic, but he's scared. He's a scaredy cat.
I like skeptics.
So
I like skeptics.
I love Matt.
It makes it. I don't want to say more serious or more fun, but when something happens, they'll be the first one to say, "Oh no, that couldn't have been that." But when they start understanding certain things possibly could be that, that's when I love a skeptic because they will still argue you till they're blue in the face that, no, that was the house settling. No, that wasn't the house settling, and I love that. So I enjoy a skeptic.
Oh, yeah, he's a lot of fun. We'll have a good time doing that. If he can come, I don't know. Like I said, we've got to get all together, so that'd be great. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it out. So we're just gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in and checking us out.